Hello Man United fans. Welcome to Manchester United football. It has been revealed that Rasmus Hojlund is nursing a back injury that will limit his playing time at the start of the season and that the issue more serious than the club disclosed. It is understood that an MRI scan conducted as part of his medical last week revealed a stress response hotspot in his back, which can be the start of stress fractures in young players. He has already been ruled out of featuring for the club in the opening 2 games of the season against Wolves and Tottenham, with some sources at United indicating that the issue is more serious than the club disclosed after completing his transfer from Atalanta last week. United's official message was that it would take several weeks for him to reach match fitness due to a small issue sustained in preseason training at Atalanta, but did not go into any detail about the nature of the injury. It's understood, however, that the back problem was picked up during his medical, which led to Hojlund being sent for an MRI, although clubs seeking second opinions is not unusual in a transfer of that magnitude. The club is adamant that following intensive investigations during his medical, there is no fundamental issue with his back and that all he requires is a period of rest. The club's initial response to last week's MRI has been to give him more time to improve his fitness and to reassure him that he is a long-term signing and will not be rushed into the team. Medical sources outside the club have however indicated that such injuries require careful management and have suggested it is unlikely that he will be able to play 2 matches a week for some time for fear of developing into a stress fracture, which would lead to a lengthy layoff. Stress response hotspots are often suffered by athletes who have had a high workload at a young age, which is the case with Hojlund. After coming through the academy at FC Copenhagen, he made his first team debut at 17 before being sold to Austrian club Sturm Graz in January 2022 and then on to Atalanta the following August for £15 million. United paid almost 5 times that amount just 12 months later, opting to go ahead with the signing despite identifying the back problem during his medical. Manchester United intend to open formal talks with Wan-Bissaka over a new contract to cap a remarkable turnaround under Erik ten Hag for the defender. It's understood that Old Trafford Chiefs are preparing discussions with the right-back's representatives, which are scheduled to commence after the current transfer window closes. Wan-Bissaka's current deal expires next summer, though there is an option to extend that by 12 months. However, United have decided they want to extend the 25-year-old's deal, which will include an increase on his £100,000 per week wages. Wan-Bissaka was a peripheral figure during the open months of Ten Hag's first season in charge last term. The club were even open to selling the defender, with Crystal Palace at the front of the queue to re-sign the fullback. But Wan-Bissaka became a key player for Ten Hag during the second half of the season as United won the EFL Cup and qualified for the Champions League. And a new deal for the defender would seal Wan-Bissaka's return to prominence at United. Manchester United have built a new players' lounge at Old Trafford after Erik ten Hag's request for a dedicated space for the squad. Ten Hag asked for a room in the South Stand, known as the Sir Bobby Charlton Stand since April 2016, adjacent to the home dressing room where players can rendezvous, relax, dine and prepare for matches. The lounge was completed in time for the home-friendly win over Lens on Saturday. Louis van Gaal and José Mourinho had both demanded a players' lounge, but their requests were refused. The upheaval to accommodate Ten Hag's wish over the last 12 months has come at the cost of millions as the South Stand hosts premium hospitality space, although United have offset losses by utilizing areas of the East Stand and the quadrants. One room in the East Stand that was previously used as office space is now a hybrid of workspace on weekdays and hospitality on matchday. Building work was still ongoing in the director's box when journalists walked past during the Lens game. In the past, the United squad used to dine at Old Trafford prior to games, but the expansion of the stadium's hospitality sector forced them to use city centre hotels. United believe the investment highlights the football-first approach that has been reinforced since Richard Arnold took over as chief executive in February 2022. The addition of a players' lounge has taken place during the club's strategic review, which has delayed plans to revamp or rebuild Old Trafford. Since Ten Hag took over, United have ended their arrangement to spend the evening before home matches at the Lowry Hotel in Salford Quays. Last season, United started to arrive at Old Trafford 3 hours before kickoff and used the number 7 suite. United assembled there for their pre-match meal and meeting, but had to vacate at 90 minutes before kickoff so hospitality guests could enter. The Players' Lounge is not the first adjustment Ten Hag has ordered at Old Trafford. Last year, the home dugout was switched to the west section so it was nearer players when they warm up. Ten Hag regarded the Lowry arrangement as impractical as United were too distant from their stadium and they used to arrive around 90 minutes before kickoff. In May 2021, the United coach was prevented from exiting the Lowry's bottleneck entrance by militant supporters protesting against the club's dalliance with the Super League, which forced the postponement of the home game with Liverpool. Reports have indicated that the club is not planning to let Hannibal Mejbri leave the club permanently in the final weeks of the transfer window, despite continued interest in his signature. Hannibal, 20, spent last season on loan with Championship side Birmingham and has attracted plenty of interest throughout the summer. Reports last week linked Hannibal with a loan move to Premier League New Boys Luton, but talks are still ongoing regarding a potential temporary exit this month. United's plan was always to let the Tunisian international prove himself during the pre-season schedule before making a decision on his immediate future, and he impressed club figures with his level of performance. Erik ten Hag is a fan of the midfielder, though there are still doubts over his role next season and how much playing time he will actually get in the first team. He made 41 appearances during his spell with Birmingham last season, and although the player does not want to leave United permanently, it would feel like a backward step if he did not play regularly next season. United have no interest in selling him permanently this summer, but they could yet sanction a loan deal before deadline day if an appropriate offer comes in. It is in the interest of all parties for the youngster to be playing regularly, and he will only be allowed to leave on a temporary deal if assurances can be made over his playing time. Manchester United aren't willing to let Dean Henderson undergo a medical at Nottingham Forest as he looks to leave Old Trafford this summer. The goalkeeper has been heavily linked with a permanent switch to the City Ground, where he spent last season on loan. Henderson was hit with an injury setback in February after he tore his thigh in January, which all but ended his campaign as a first-choice goalkeeper. Any route to being United's number one looks to be closed off with Andre Onana now arriving, but United can still land a sizable fee by moving him on. Forest are keen to put the England international through a rigorous medical, which United fear could aggravate his injury, and as a result won't sanction it. Both United and Forest are willing to let him fully recover before any deal takes place. Fans, have your say on Rasmus Hojlund's injury concern. Should the club have still finalized the signing after discovering the injury? Leave your comments below in the comment section on any of the topics discussed. If you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.